Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. This is your host Ryan Kennedy, and today I'm joined by my good buddy Max. And Max and I connected, a couple years back now, maybe 2021. And he was a mutual friend of ours. Brandon Collinsworth connected us because he was looking for some health consulting. So he actually became a patient. We're doing some work together, and through that process, became close friends and have stayed in touch ever since. And had the opportunity to spend some time together. Tabby's house down in Cabo, and I really love what this guy's built. He's built an awesome brand called Unbound, which really is about curating these life-changing experiences for his community. Everything from amazing retreats, which we're going to talk about today, some of the things he's got coming down the pipeline. He's done music festivals, and he's really built this awesome opportunity for people to connect deeper, provide genuine contribution to those in needs, and piece together these core pillars of kind of immersion and wellness and music, and really embodying what brings a rich life. So Max, dude, I'm stoked to have you on the show today, brother.
Ryan, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So how'd you get into this? What gave you the initial idea of creating Unbound, and what was some of your life journey leading up to this process?
Yeah, the culmination and everything that built up to starting this brand really stemmed from I was working in the e-commerce and credit card industry for nearly a decade. I was really grinding it out and I was enjoying the process. I was making a lot of money and I was super comfortable and complacent. And life was good and I was just really like flowing and just kind of going through the motions. And I wasn't living a passionate life. I wasn't really tapped into my heart and connected. And I finally made the decision to exit that industry and kind of transition. And that was right at the start of when COVID hit. And things were good. Passive income was good. And as soon as I made that decision to make the transition, all my passive income went away and it was a huge transitional chapter of my life. And I was figuring out what is the next step for me? What is the next thing? And I wound up actually going to Cabo, and it was for Tabby's birthday. It was in 2021. It was just, as the pandemic was rolling on. And I experienced the magic of a property down there, which was Hotel El Gonzo in San Jose. And it's a very unique place. We were there together. They've got this incredible beach club, and there's a venue right next door, which really inspired me. And I'm actually a 8-year burner. I've gone to Burning Man 8 times. It's a part of my identity. It's a huge inspiration for me in my life. And through the lens that I've cultivated through my experiences at Burning Man, I was inspired to create a festival. The property in Cabo was like next level. It had everything in regards to the amenities, to the creativity, to the venue. Everything was just perfect. And it was about a year after I left my previous industry, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to enter the festival and the event space, and I wanted to cultivate this incredible experience. So I did. Within a month, I had my corporation, got everything set up, started marketing, booking out 15 world-class DJs. I bought out the entire El Gonzo hotel, and I put on this incredible luxury next level festival. And that was the start of curating Unbound. And it was really just based on human connection and bringing people together and dropping in to the present moment. Because now we're immersed in our phones and social media, and now with AI and metaverses, we're going down a very interesting track. So for me, utilizing my brand Unbound to bring people together in the physical world is my passion. It's what this brand is all about.
I love it, dude. And so what inspired you when you were working the credit card gig, making good money, living fine, to take that leap? So I think a lot of people can relate to doing
Ooh,
something they're not extremely passionate about, but it pays the bills and it's maybe not miserable. It's easy enough, and they just continue down that path for the bulk of their career or their entire lives, opposed to switching gears and making this leap like you did. So what kind of helped you break through that barrier and jump into it?
yeah, the everything was flowing well. I was an avid traveler. I had a lot of freedom. And honestly, my life on paper was amazing. But it was that lack of fulfillment and connection to my heart and passion that was really missing. And the relationships that I had in that industry, one of them was a close friend of mine, and things just got toxic. I wasn't showing up. I just really wasn't fulfilled. And what gave me the kick in the butt was it was just I had the inkling and I felt my intuition say that it was time. And typically, I think we can all agree that when we feel that intuitive kick, whether it's in a relationship that's toxic and we know it's time to leave, or a business, or whatever is going on, when we feel that, a lot of the times we kind of suppress it and we don't listen to it. And it was just a moment where I just said, like, it's time. I need to do something different. And I didn't have anything. There was nothing on, there was no plan B. I just said, it's time. And I made the step. And it's been challenging. It's been fulfilling. It's been rewarding. It's been all of the above, but it's been filled with so much. And I'm grateful for it all. It's, I'm alive and I feel all of it. And yeah, it's been a journey.
That's beautiful, brother. Yeah, I just had an interview recently with my dude Mike, who is just a master of wisdom, and he talks a lot about this concept, Japanese concept called ikigai, which is really
Mm.
aligning your zone of genius, your gifts and your things that you're good at, with your passion and things that you love and things you want to pursue, with your purpose of something that is giving back to the world at a greater rate and kind of filling up your soul, with something that can create monetary abundance, for yourself and your family, and kind of finding these different zones and having them all converge into one type of thing. And it's tough. It's definitely a tough journey to discover that and to align all of these different components. But I love that you took the leap and went for it and didn't let the uncertainty of the situation hold you back, because that's a scary thing, man. It's tough when especially in the world we live in today, where it's like you got to be able to pay your bills and make ends meet, and not everyone has a safety net to fall back on, and that could be
Sure.
a stressful endeavor, to say the least.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's been super challenging. Yeah, I put on that festival and it was amazing in so many different ways and was a complete success. It was 5-star reviews and I lost my entire net worth that I saved up. And it's been a transitional process and there's nothing to sugarcoat. I've got nothing to hide about it. And through that, I've built fortitude and grit to just continue pushing on and believing in what I'm building and sustaining with that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being willing to share and open up, because it's not easy to talk about some of the financial losses that we incur. Most people are always trying to talk about the highlights, the wins, the
Of
success stories,
course.
when they just hit a home run, and that's all they focus on. But we all have times when we hit a little turbulence like that and some setbacks, and it's good to highlight that so people feel like it's not, they're not alone, and everyone goes through these ups and downs on the journey. So let me ask you this, dude. What have you learned persevering through this hardship? Like, as you had these financial challenges, you're obviously in this spot where you know what you're building, but you're in the building phase.
Yeah.
How have you been able to stay in a good mental space during this time?
Good mental space has been a variety of things. My spiritual practices, I've been really tapping into more and more. I wasn't as consistent as I should have been throughout the process, but meditation and journaling has been helping me a lot recently. Support from my community has been the biggest, just having your core group of people. And for me, it's been men. Um, and just really leaning on those that are there for you, believe in you. And it's that belief within yourself from your community that has, for me personally, given me a lot of strength. Um, yeah, I would say that the biggest thing for me to that's been supportive through this whole process is just it's my belief in myself. Most people in my position, I feel like a lot of people would just count them out and they would just jump back into the rat race and jump back into a consistent job. And it's smart and you got to take care of your ends meet, but simultaneously I've had the ultimate utmost belief in what I'm building and what I'm doing, and I have no doubt that I'm going to be on top and that I'm going to create and manifest and work to make my dreams come true and to build this brand into what I envision it to be. And I won't stop until I get there.
That mindset is what's the biggest key, man. And that's that unwavering faith is what could be the most challenging part to cultivate, especially when you're in it. You're in the shit. It's easy to look back and be like,
Big,
oh yeah, like once you kind of get out of it, then you're like, yeah, of course it was going to work out. I believed it. But when you're in it, it's not always so easy to see the light. But one thing that I found very valuable when I look back at some of the hardest things I've gone through and look at kind of the journey in hindsight is
mm,
reminding myself in the moment, like this too shall pass. Everything is temporary.
yes.
Everything is temporary, whether it's something super positive and you're riding a high, or whether you're at rock bottom and you're in a low spot and things are really tough and everything's kind of crumbling around you. Reminding yourself, this is not my end destination. This is not the way things are going to play out long term. And
Mm.
I gotta keep the right mindset during this time to, level up and keep moving forward.
100%, 100%. And it's that concept of surrender, right? Just like really, really believing and trusting in whatever it is, whether it's God, the universe, Muhammad, Allah, like whatever it is that you believe in, trusting and surrendering into the support, because we're all divinely supported. We're all loved, and that's been a big process for me. I'm living in Peru down here, and was recently in the jungle and did a very intensive and deep dive with plant medicine, and that was one of the biggest outcomes and aha moments for me was that concept of surrender, but like really just trusting and surrendering and flowing. And yeah, it's been a huge impact for me these last few weeks as I've exited and integrated from my time in the jungle.
Incredible, incredible, man. And so
Mm,
with one thing I want to dive into too is something you and I spoke about at the beginning of this year. We had the opportunity to hang out for a few days down south in Baja, and I was helping you kind of get dialed in with some of your health protocols and get you back on track with your nutrition and fitness and supplements and sleep and so on. And I'm curious what role that's played and what you've seen, like as far as impact that's had during this time.
mm. Yeah, man. Grateful, first of all, for you, for your knowledge, for everything that you've poured into me. You're definitely the best in the game, so I want to pay homage first and foremost. But in regards to my health, my wellness, my energy has had a massive difference, since we kind of started working together, the supplementation, seeing what I was deficient in and supplementing to, bring those levels up. Mindset, energy, it's all come into play. And I wish I was on this health and wellness path sooner in life and knew the things that I know now. Especially with having the situation and the impact that I've had from losing my dad to cancer. There's things that I learned years later where I feel like if I knew these modalities and these types of health practices, that maybe there was a chance that I could have saved my dad. Whether it was the raw diet or alkaline diet, like there's so many different things out there now that I feel are helpful. So it's so important, and it's played a pivotal role for me, especially these last few months as I'm getting back into my journey with my my physique, my physical and my mental health, so to speak. Yeah.
And one way to reframe that perspective, man, because one thing you shared with me like 6 months ago that you brought up just now is just wishing you had started sooner. And I think
Mm,
that's something a lot of people experience of just like, man, if I was only ahead of where I'm at now and it wasn't starting from this point and I was, further along, whether it be health and wellness, or whether it be business or finances or relationships or whatever the hell it is, right? But
yeah.
the way I like to look at this, especially pertaining to health and wellness, is like, dude, you have so much opportunity for improvement. Like you are going to be in a position where you're going to have that exponential growth curve. And while you may look at people that have been super dialed in with health and fitness for a while and are kind of, at a place you might want to be, they don't have that potential for exponential improvement. Like there hits a point in diminishing returns where like you can only get to a certain place, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's something special about that growth process and the desire of humans, it's in our nature to want to see progress. And it's hard to see progress if you've been training 5 days a week for 10 years. Your progress is going to be much slower than if you're starting from square one, where you're just making leaps and bounds improvements in your strength and your body comp and your overall just quality of life. And I think
Yeah,
there's something special to be said about that, and something to really honor about that process at the beginning stages, where you just have this immense opportunity for improvement, and the way that impacts your reward system and your dopamine levels and all the other things that go along with this.
for sure, for sure. No, I completely agree with that. It's always nice to slap another plate onto the on the barbell as well.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh yeah. It always feels good
yeah,
to be getting after it, and seeing the fruits of your labor, come to
for
fruition,
sure.
seeing those benefits. So
Yeah.
I love to see how much progress you've made, dude. Even just since we hung out, you look freaking good, bro. You look good.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
Feeling good,
you're
man.
crushing it. So I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about this next retreat you have coming up. So you had told me
Definitely.
a bit about it earlier this year, as it was really more in incubation phase, and you were creating some of the concepts behind it. And I know you had attended retreats of this nature in the past, like warrior retreats that our good friend
Yep.
Brandon Collinsworth puts on. And that helped to inspire you to, choose this location in South America and choose some of the types of, contribution and impact in the society down there for those in need. So I want to talk a little bit about what you got going on, because I know that you have a retreat coming up this fall, and it sounds
Yes, sir.
absolutely epic. So I want you to kind of run through, a little bit about the inspiration for it, and then talk through the format and the flow, and what's exactly involved, and what, people that attend are going to get out of this.
Cool, cool. Yeah, this is so first and foremost, it is a partial collaboration with Brandon and his brand Warrior Retreats. It's a branch off from his ecosystem. So Brandon has given me the green light to essentially run with the Warrior Retreats playbook. And what I've done is I've put my own little twist and changes within the framework of the itinerary to have a little bit of the unbound influence and, my essence into it, so to speak. So yeah, this is Brandon calls it a rite of passage experience, which is a great way to describe it. It is a next level itinerary that takes us through Peru for 2 weeks, from the Amazon jungle to the Andes mountain range. We'll be in Cusco. We're going to be going to Aguas Caliente, which is the base town below the citadel of Machu Picchu. We are going to Sacred Valley, and we're going to visit a bunch of archaeological sites. And there is just an immense amount poured into this 2 week experience. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to open this up. It's this October, the first 2 weeks. I'm doing it on October 1st, which would have been my dad's birthday. So I'm doing this in honor of him, from the 1st to the 15th of October. Um, I could run through the play by play, but we'll be here all day. So, we're in the Amazon jungle for 3 days and 3 nights. In the jungle, we're going to have the opportunity to swim with pink dolphins, fish for piranha, fit with master plant medicine led by esteemed shamans who have had this knowledge and wisdom passed down from their ancient lineages. We are also going to be involved with Warrior and with Brandon to do a sustainable project in the Amazon, where we're going to tap a freshwater well. So the local villages in the Amazon are going to be able to have fresh water year round. We're also going to do a charity initiative in the Amazon for the local villages to bring toys and supplies and play with the kids. It's going to be a beautiful day. From there, we are going to head to Cusco in the Andes mountain range. We're there for 4 days. In Cusco, we're going to do a bunch of culinary experiences. Cusco actually happens to be the oldest city on record in all of the Americas. So it's filled with culture, amazing markets and shopping, a ton of culinary experiences. We will do a service initiative, which is going to be a immersive experience where we go to 4 different hospitals and orphanages and just pour our love into the mentally, physically, and financially less fortunate. We're going to raise a substantial amount of money to pour into these communities. We'll take the train. We'll go to Aguas Caliente, where we're going to stay in a beautiful 5-star hotel for 2 nights. Machu Picchu, we're going to do Huayna Picchu, the whole experience. And then it all cultivates in the Sacred Valley, where we will have the opportunity to go to archaeological sites. One of the best restaurants in all of South America is on the itinerary, which is an 8-course immersive experience, $550 per person. It is incredible, built right into the side of this archaeological site in Moray. And we're going to have amazing and incredible world-renowned facilitators with us that are going to do some experiences and workshops. And yeah, man, it's filled with so much more, but it's it's a jam-packed, literally absolutely next level experience that I'm proud to open up to my community.
It sounds like it, man. What a journey you're leading people through. And I like the term rite of passage because if you look at all the indigenous cultures throughout humanity, they've always had this rite of passage concept where it might have been, kind of a solo camping type trip. It might have been something involving plant medicines and entheogens. It might have been something else altogether. But there's always been this kind of marked shift between like childhood and adulthood where you go through
Mm,
this challenging experience that helps you grow, it helps you tap in. And I think what you're putting together is really bringing that to our modern day society in a way that people can kind of get the best of both worlds. You get a lot of the experience and learnings and personal growth, but you also get some of the luxury and some of the kind of finer aspects of life, involved in this. And then it's all tied around with this genuine contribution, which I think is huge, man. I recently joined a mastermind, and one of the big pillars in this mastermind is genuine contribution of giving
mm,
back to others, giving back to people in need, really creating monetary success, not just for the sake of, playing the game and stacking your bank account, but really what can you do with that? What impact can you have? How can you help, people who are really struggling, who really need support in this world? And it's really opened my eyes because I think a lot of us have this I'll do it later mentality. Like I'll donate later once I've made X number of dollars, or I'll donate my time once I have more free time. And it's always this like someday mindset when
yes.
you're always going to move the goalpost. You're never going to have enough time. You're never going to have just so much money that you're like, let me give some away. You got to really prioritize it in the here and now. And I like what you've built because it not only provides that financial support to the people, the locals, but it also provides an immersive experience where you can go through and see the change that you're making and see the impact it's having on these kids and these people. And that's something that's just immeasurably valuable.
100%, 100%. Yeah, going along the lines that you said, it's like, if you're not going to give a dollar out of 10 or 10 out of 100, you're certainly not going to give 1,000 out of 100,000 or 1 million out of 100 million. It's the goalpost is always going to move, like you said. And for me, my biggest thing that I've realized and what came to me this last time that I was in Peru this last December with Brandon was my mission in life is to create as much abundance as possible and share that abundance with the world. And that has become my purpose and my mission and what I want to create through this brand and through experiences and through connection. And these projects, these days that are a part of this retreat, being immersed in these hospitals and these orphanages has transformed my life. It's opened my heart. It's really allowed me to drop into my heart. And yeah, it's changed the trajectory for me big time.
Yeah, it's an incredible vision, man. You're already doing it. Time just needs to catch up a little bit, but it's already done. With
For
the
sure.
plant medicine experience, I think that's something that intrigues a lot of people just by seeing some of the research that's coming out with some of these plants that have been used for thousands of years. This isn't anything new, but there's certainly become a big wave of pop culture spreading
Mm,
awareness of some of the benefits and some of the upside potential with these types of journeys. And I've seen it firsthand, in my own life. I've seen it just anecdotally with friends and patients and people I work with. While I don't facilitate these, I don't recommend these, legally speaking. People have done, gone off and done some of these things. They've received incredible value. And one of the things that concerns me is all the sketchy stuff that's going on, dude. You hear like people that are like, yeah, I had this like 14th ayahuasca ceremony with the shaman from Craigslist that I've met at a rave that, buys the
mm,
medicine online at some like weird, black market website with Bitcoin. And you're like, man, I don't know if this is a good idea, bro. This sounds pretty sketchy
mm,
versus what you're doing, which is, in my philosophy, at least, the right way to do it. You're going to the actual place where this stuff is grown and cultivated. You're going to the source where a lot of these shamans and these medicine people have been learning these traditions through generations and really practicing this and living it and knowing the ins and outs of all of the, upside, downside question marks that can happen and what to do in any kind of case of emergency. And I think this is really like the experience most people need to seek out, opposed to just trying to do something stateside to save money or time rather than really doing it right.
for sure. No, it's pivotal. It's really important. And I was actually talking to somebody that I met yesterday about this. Working with the medicine it's sacred, and this is, you need to be very intentional where you sit and where you participate in these ceremonies, because everything from the medicine itself, how it's cooked, how it's prepared, and the shaman is the one who really guides the experience and is energetically setting the tone and protecting the energies. And there's a lot that goes into it, and I don't want to get into the whole frou spiritual side of it, but it's very important that you choose these containers appropriately. And what we have here in the Amazon, the lodge, the shamans, the group and the crew, they are professionals at what they do. This is stuff that has been passed down from their ancestors. They've been working with the medicine since they were, my shaman, his first ceremony was, I think he was 8. So when he experienced the medicine and his journey begun. And it's very pivotal, and it's for your safety. You need to be very intentional with these things. So I'm very fortunate to have access to to the maestro. It's incredible the work that these people do.
Wow. Well, where can people go, Max, to learn more about the retreat, to learn more about what you're doing with, Unbounds, and where's the best place for people to reach out if they're interested in this?
Yeah, definitely. The two best places are going to be on the website and as well as on the Instagram. Website is pretty simple. It is www.weareunbound.com, and the Instagram handle is @weareunbound. And those are the two best places to find out information, to reach out and gather any additional information you might be curious about learning.
Love it, brother. Thanks for taking the time. It's always good connecting with you.
Ditto. Ryan, thank you so much for having me, bro.
You bet, man. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you found it helpful, please share it along to anyone else you believe it can serve. You can submit your own question to be answered on the show by going to ryankennedyhealth.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review for the show. Your feedback helps to support me on my mission to positively impact as many people as possible with this information. Please note, the information depicted in this episode is purely for informational purposes only. Please consult your healthcare professional before making any changes to your lifestyle or routine.